Another SEC weekend. We're ready to play. We'll have a good practice today, prepare for the weekend, and get after it. So happy to answer questions.
Start with Dave.
Mark, how is Adam Hill?
As I said last night, we were cautiously optimistic. We're still officially at TBA right now, but it's looking better that he's going to have a chance to pitch for us. But we still need to go through today and in the training room and through all the mechanics of making sure that he's good to go.
Your left here, Colin.
You touched on it a little bit last night already, but how big of an opportunity is this for some of the guys like Riley Hogan and Justin Rowe to kind of seize their opportunity with other guys?
This is their chance. This is their chance. Not going to pull any punches. This is their chance. When you get your opportunity, take advantage of it. That's what sports is all about. When you get your chance, take advantage. And Justin Rowe did that last night. There's no question. And other guys are getting opportunities, and it's up to them to take advantage. Because at some point, those other players will be healthy and will be back. So if you want to continue to be a part of the mix, you need to play well. You want to play more, you need to play well.
Does Kyle Jacobson fit in that role? Is he healthy, and will we see him this weekend?
Yes, he is healthy, and he will be in the mix of getting playing time. He's a guy we need to figure out exactly where does he fit in for this year and for the future. So he will be a guy you'll be seeing in the lineup.
What do you notice about Tennessee?
I mean, they look to be improved from last year. Their record obviously is better. They're a team, I think, because of the previous staff being California-type coaches and bringing that style. They still have mostly those types of players, so they're going to be an athletic team, and they've got some power arms on the mound. So it'll be a good matchup. It'll be 3 games. It could go either way.
As far as, not to harbor on Adam, but it is a situation where, like, if you find out maybe he can pitch later on the weekend, would it be something where you shuffle the rotation a little bit just to accommodate that, just to get him a start this weekend?
Probably not. I think if he's ready to go this week, he'll be ready to go tomorrow. The problem with shuffling guys and moving guys up is they're already on 1 day's less rest because it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. So to ask those guys that are already on 1 day's less rest to take an additional day off from what they're used to in their routine is just not something you want to do. So ideally, if he can pitch, he'll pitch on Thursday.
Mark, obviously, nobody likes to lose, and you guys are really beat up right now. But how is the mood and the mentality in the clubhouse about breaking out of this slump and playing a lot of season left?
Yeah, I think our attitude is good. I think last night showed that we're going to continue to show up and play. That's our job. And the coach's job is to make sure the team's ready to play. The player's job is to make sure they go out there and play as hard as they can. So I think the team has to reflect leadership. I take that responsibility very seriously, that I will continue to fight and be positive and focus on what can get us better. And then it's the team's responsibility to make sure that they follow suit with that. So you're going to see a team that will continue to fight. We're focused on the short term and the long term right now. Short term mindset right now is we're in survival mode. We're going to try to fight our way out of this corner. We're going to try to get guys healthy and make the most of what we have right now. And then big picture mindset is we're going to continue to build this thing. That's where we are right now.
When do you feel comfortable starting to pay close attention to SEC standings? Obviously, 2 series in, there's a long way to go, but when do things kind of start playing out?
I think it's too early, John, as you said right now. It's probably a little bit too early. But what I will say, when we start to win some games where it matters that we need to know where we are in the standings, then we'll start to follow that. But at this point, our focus is completely on how do we get our team better, how do we prepare for our next opponent. Once we start to get in a flow and win some games, and now you start to be relevant in the standings, that's when maybe we'll start to take a peek at what place are we in or how many more games do you need to win. Until we get to that point, right now our focus is on taking care of this team, getting guys healthy, maximizing the guys that can play, and just try to win the next ball game.
What if Adam does come back? What do you do with John this weekend? I assume you put him back in that versatile kind of bullpen role. We can throw him on multiple days.
Right. Well, you saw a glimpse last night. You know, I think John throwing last night showed that that's probably the role we'd like to use him in now if our starting rotation stays healthy. He'll be in that role where he can come in, get lefties out. He had great stuff last night. He left a couple balls up with 2 strikes that he needs to learn from. But in terms of how did he look last night, I thought he looked really good. His stuff was good. He was down in the zone with the fastball. So ideally, he's the guy that comes in out of the bullpen 2 or 3 times a week and gets you 3 outs here, 6 outs there, but gets some really big outs late in the game.
Cody didn't seem to have his best week last week. After watching the video from his outing, what did y'all kind of discover from him, and how do you think he's going to respond this week?
Well, he's responded well so far. When he had, maybe not his best start, he's responded with a better start after that. The biggest thing with Cody is just consistency. Consistency of mechanics, consistency of location of pitches, consistency of the stuff in terms of how sharp it is. He just needs to be consistent. He has the stuff, but there's some days he's better than others in terms of all those things we just mentioned. So the biggest thing for him is just to be a consistent starter so that when he goes out on the mound, you know what you're getting. You know you're getting that high level velocity. You know you're going to get command. You know you're going to get the off-speed pitches for strikes. That's the next step for him, is that consistency. When he does that, then he'll be a legitimate Saturday starter in the SEC. Right now he's working towards that. He's shown glimpses and flashes of it. We need him to be that consistently.
Coach, in regards to some of the personal struggles and some of the team struggles, how can the adversity now help the team down the line as you push towards the goals and continue to improve through this year?
Yeah, very good question. I mean, I say it to our guys all the time, adversity will make you weaker or stronger, period. It will make you weaker or stronger, individually and as a program and as the 2018 team. And the only way I'll approach it as the head coach here is that it'll make us stronger. It'll toughen guys up a little bit, because this will toughen you up, no doubt about it. You have no choice. It'll teach you where you're short in some areas. So as coaches, we'll continue to evaluate what's necessary to win, what needs to be improved. Every struggle can teach you things. Every struggle can make you better. So that will be our outlook on this thing, period.
What did you see from Jake in the leadoff spot last night, and with Noah and TJ out, who do you kind of look for to fill that role? Yeah, I mean, I think Jake profiles best for us there because he hits better as a table setter than he does when guys are in scoring position. So I think his batting average when he's leading off is .375, which is much better than any other category that he's in. So ideally, that should be a good role for him. And also he can run into a ball and hit it out of the park too. So he can be ideally the kind of leadoff hitter that Florida has, where it's a guy with some athleticism, but he also can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Ideally that's what Jake could be for us. Now he needs to get better in some areas. He needs to be a little bit more disciplined at the plate. So there are some areas he needs to get better, but he has the skills to do that. Now we just need to make sure that he uses those properly. At this point, he's one of the better candidates, I think, to fill that role until those guys are back.
Is Ridge still your Sunday guy, or is that role still evolving?
No, Ridge is our Sunday guy. I mean, he needs to continue to throw more strikes, and we talked about it last week, John, where he gave up 1 hit, but he gave up the 5 walks, and that needs to continue to get better. But for whatever reason, Ridge is extremely tough to hit. His opponent's batting average is one of the best around. He has good stuff, so he's given us chances to win. Two weeks in a row, he started in the SEC, and the opponent scored 3 runs both days. That's good enough. That is good enough. So if he continues to get his command under control, then we got a guy that can really help us win on Sundays.
TJ and Madison both have had some pretty lengthy injury history around here. Have you noticed any kind of change in them, or how have they kind of responded to what they're going through right now?
They're frustrated. There's no question they're frustrated. Stokes is a senior. This is his last go-around, so he wants to play, and he worked extremely hard to get to the position where he could have a good year, and he's been having a great year for us. Guy's hitting .390 with 5 homers in limited time. he's had a great year. So I think he's frustrated in the fact that he's banged up again, and he's done everything he can. I've seen him in the training room extra. I've seen him in the weight room extra. He's done everything he can. So I think he's frustrated, but he was also engaged in the dugout yesterday. He was talking with players, trying to give his insight on the game. So from that standpoint, I'm pleased. You know, TJ, same thing. I think he's a little down. He's a little frustrated that he can't help us right now, and it's a big year for him too. And he was another guy that was playing great baseball. So it's frustration. I mean, that's when you're not getting to play and you're having a great year, there is frustration. It's up to us as coaches just to make sure that while this is happening, they harness it, they learn, they help their teammates, and we get something positive out of it, because obviously them not being on the field is not a positive. So we need to find other ways to figure out how can they help and how can they learn from this.
How much does a game like last night kind of get you back into creating better habits, especially when it comes to timely hitting? And I know you had some breaks go your way with the one error early, but you know, I think a lot of times players kind of get in bad habits with those things. How much of that have you noticed, and how much have you tried to break yourself out of that over the last couple of games?
Well, I just think the big thing is the one-run win. I think it shows guys that it can be done. You know, you don't have to let the momentum always go against you. You can turn the tide, and that's been our mindset, is try to turn the momentum, turn the tide in our favor. And at the end of the day, you have to play good baseball. And in baseball is not a sport generally where you can take just maybe luck or good fortune you got from one game and take it to the next. It's been said for a long time, momentum is your next starting pitcher. And if we have Adam Hill on the mound, that's good momentum. So last night was good for us because we did do some good things. We put some guys in motion. We had some hit and runs. I mean, we may have to do some different things just to try to spark it a little bit. So the fact that we won the game, I think that puts guys in a little bit better mindset and anxious to do it again.
With Madison, when he comes back, do you look at doing some things differently with him just to protect him a little bit? DHing some, maybe put him at first base. I mean, not taking anything away from him at shortstop, obviously, but do you try to protect the hamstring?
Yes.
From your experiences as head coach, have you had, obviously injuries happen in baseball, but have you had something you can reflect back on a year where you've lost some key guys and those guys have come back and it's made you stronger? Like, do you have a blueprint for this at all from your time as manager?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in college coaching now since the late 90s, so you never see it all, but you do go through tough times. There are years where everybody stays healthy and you have a very good fortune throughout the year. There are years where just every day it seems like somebody's getting hurt, and you just, no matter what you do, nothing goes your way. So I think what it teaches you is to make sure you stay steady. As a younger coach, I was probably a little bit more up and down, but I think one of the reasons why you earn your way into this job at this level is you've seen a lot of things, the good, the bad, the ugly, how to handle them, how to deal with them, what to adjust, how to try to improve things. That's part of the process at this point. So yeah, I do look back on seasons where everything went right, some seasons where nothing went right, and what adjustments did we make, and how did we handle those situations, both mistakes we made that we won't repeat, or things that we did that ended up being very positive for us that we do repeat. So to me, experience is very valuable when you're in a leadership position, because you know that if you look back on things that are being repeated now, you kind of know how to handle them.
Coach, just looking at the home record you guys have, 14-6 at home, with a win last night, and you guys go into the Tennessee series. Just how important is this series in terms of gaining momentum moving forward for you guys?
Well, I mean, as I say it all the time, we just very badly want to win the next game. And obviously we love playing in this ballpark. It's the best ballpark in America. Great fans. We want to play well for the fans and let them walk out of the ballpark happy, not disappointed. For us, it's just win the next game. And if we win the first game, then you try to win the next game. Would we love to win the series? Of course, but our focus is on win the next game and try to start creating that momentum. All right, appreciate it.